All right, so for this week, we have the guys at Bravado Spice down in Houston, Texas. John, what did you think of this one?
I love this one. We talked to James Nelson and Jeremiah Tallerine, MasterChef extraordinaires, TV celebrities, Apple geniuses, officially Apple geniuses, and overall one of the funniest pairs. I mean, yeah, I would say the funniest two guys that we've had come on to our show together. They, I would love to be like a fly on the wall in their offices because I feel like they're just always having fun. They go on these crazy videos and stuff like that. But anyway, they have a hot sauce company. It is called Bravado Spice, and they started off working at Apple together, kind of making hot sauce in their kitchen. I think they were at a party or something like that, and they needed a hot sauce, and they couldn't find like the particular hot sauce they wanted. Neither of them are chefs, by the way. Started building, made this hot sauce, and their friends liked it. And they have, through a series of really, really intelligent risks and some parts just getting lucky, have built this into a hot sauce company. It's hard to kind of say what makes a successful hot sauce company because, as everyone knows, there are thousands of hot sauce brands, and they talk about it, like burn your ass off, fire sauce. And I was on Amazon. Hang on, sidebar. Okay. So when you go to like Amazon and you look at the Bravado hot sauce product, and you go down to the customers who also bought this item, the hot sauces out there are ridiculous. So
really?
We have Satan's Blood hot sauce.
Oh my God.
800,000 Scoville units. I have no idea what a Scoville... I mean, I know what a Scoville unit is, but it's hotness. But yeah, 800,000 Satan's Blood. One fucking drop at a time is another hot sauce. Hotter than Ghost Pepper, Scorpion Habanero, Hot Sauce, Wicked Nightmare Extract. That's one name of a product. So it's like this ridiculous industry. Yeah. And so how do you make a name? How do you be successful?
Yeah.
These guys they're in Whole Foods now. They're in
like
H-E-B.
300 stores.
They're in 300 stores. They're expanding rapidly, and they've done it with kind of good design that they took from their days at Apple. Good recipes that are not, I assume, 800,000 Scoville units.
Definitely not.
And also excellent branding, and part of that comes from their personalities. They're just two like guys from Texas that you would expect to be making hot sauce, I guess.
Yeah, and what like particularly impressed me was these guys in their business savvy, because it's very basic and plain like small business stuff.
Yep.
But the kind of the contrast of their like turn up the caffeine attitude all the time. Yep. They're just like jacked up, but they're very like measured business strategy. I found to be like really cool and impressive. Especially from like such like guys our age, like young dudes.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think like the takeaway that I took from this whole thing is the amount and the types of the risks they've taken throughout their progression. Like the first risk they took was trying to get on MasterChef because they knew in the beginning they needed that exposure to differentiate themselves from all the other hot sauces that were out there. And then they finally got into Whole Foods because of that exposure. Like they took the risk, it paid off for them. They got into Whole Foods. Then they were able to quit their jobs and devote full time to this company. And now they're kind of talking about, some of the strategic outreach campaigns that they make now. They spend, a fair amount of capital on. They wouldn't have risked in the beginning. And everything is kind of an experiment, a risk, and they do it in an extremely intelligent way behind a bunch of bravado. If I, hey, look at what I did there.
No, it's a very cool business, and I can't wait to see what these guys do in the next couple of years, especially as now they're expanding their product line. They got pickles checked off, and now they're doing spices, which makes a lot of sense because it's in the name. And so I really love doing this interview.
Ton of fun. Yep. Let's hear it.
All right, so before we get started, I just want to say thanks to our sponsor, MailChimp. MailChimp has sponsored Salt of the Earth since the very beginning, and that means they've also sponsored over 14 newsletters. Subscribe now at saltpodcast.com.
That was good. I like that.
All right. All right, guys. So how about we just start by you guys talking about what you were doing before all of this and how you met each other?
Yeah.
Oh God! Wow.
Well, a lot of debauchery, a lot of whiskey.
Okay.
We had pretty cush jobs at Apple,
Pretty cush.
selling
Oh.
computers and being nerds.
iPhones and iPads and things of that nature. Real simple stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that Apple. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
yeah.
Did you think it was another, like, I worked on an Apple farm?
Well, I mean, we
'Cause
went
that would be
from
pretty cool.
we went from fruity hot sauces, and then before that, you say Apple. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm
we
kidding.
worked on an orchard since we were
So-
boys.
We sold iPhones on an orchard.
It was not lucrative. That's why we're doing
Believe
this.
me, if they could do it and make money, we would have been in an orchard.
Immigrant workers do not have enough money for iPhone 6s Pluses.
Which is why we haven't had them for a while.
No. But no, we both. We both worked at Apple forever, man.
Yeah.
We both worked our way through all tons of different positions, and the next thing you know, we own one of the hottest and fastest growing hot sauce companies around. So it's kind of a weird transition.
Where did the whiskey get involved?
Every day,
Well,
constantly.
You start about like 14 or 15 years old when we started listening to metal.
Yeah,
All right.
And
helps.
then playing in bands, and it's never really stopped since then.
So you're working at Apple, and at what point do you say, like, oh, let's make hot sauce?
Honestly, we didn't.
No, we didn't have like an epiphany set down. We started a company. I cook a lot, and we'd always have people over. And one night he was over at my house, and we're making fish tacos because, of course, that's a delicious thing to have.
Yeah, you gotta
and we
have fish
wanted
tacos.
like a tropical kind of hot sauce to put on, and we were like running around like a grocery store by our house, and we couldn't find anything. And it was just like the same old crap over and over again, like like the butt so burning hot sauce and the sphincter shrinkter burn and all that kind of crap, and then like your big name brands Tabasco and stuff, and then some like artisan stuff, and we didn't see anything that we wanted, so we just bought some pineapples, habaneros, and a bunch of other ingredients, went back to my place.
And honestly, like one take, threw it together, fed it to a bunch of people, had a bunch of leftovers, and took it to work. And then everyone just kept asking for more and more and more.
Without any
and-
experience making hot sauce before, like recipes online, just like, pineapples, peppers.
No
No.
recipe, no experience.
We just kind of guessed. We were like, "This is how hot sauce is made, right?"
We didn't know anything about what we know now in terms of like pH and shelf life and all that stuff. We just lucked out because we picked an acidic item and then added acid to it, and we're like, "Oh wow, it's lasting! How neat is that?" And then
So when we did our first shelf life, because starting the business, we were going into a whole industry with regulations, etc. That we're just discovering as we go. And I remember doing the test kitchen because you do a couple of tests, you send it off to a third party lab, you send it off to Texas Health Department, and I remember testing the pH, and both of those were like, does it need to be high or low? Like, what's the score here? What's the metric? I'm not
is
sure.
3 bad
Is it
or
good?
good? And then we find
So
out
we're like,
oh, it's
oh,
fucking
this is
great.
below 3.
Yeah, it's like this is totally good for like a year, and we're like, oh really? Well, that's great news.
Because otherwise, we'd have to start over.
Oh, no. So what is what is a hot sauce?
Hot sauce it's literally just a spicy condiment in liquid form, as long as the core ingredient is a chili pepper. Which, multiple different names: chili pepper, capsaicin, hot pepper, chilies,
Whatever.
that kind of thing. Yeah. And it's we look at hot sauce differently. We don't look at hot sauce as a vessel just to increase the heat of something. We look at it as more of a way to, enhance your food with spiciness and flavors. So that's why I like all of our products. Our whole product line is a little bit more eclectic, a little bit more free roaming instead of like a hottest. It's more like more citrusy and spicy, and then more earthy and spicy, and then more tangy, and then more garlicky. Yeah. Like we wanted it to be more of like a waveform of flavors as opposed to a ascending line. And
It's kind of like, you go buy ice cream and you got like 17 flavors. It's all ice cream.
yeah. Like if you listen to a song, you don't want to listen to a song that just builds and builds all the way to a point. You want a journey. You want to wave with the product.
We're going to give you an album of hot sauces.
Greatest hits is really what we're looking at here, and that's kind of been our whole mantra.
But you started with the pineapple one, and that was your first hit. And then how did that go from you're making it in the kitchen for your friends to the Kickstarter campaign? Because that's how you guys originally launched, right?
Well, because we worked for Apple and because we had such a large group of people to basically use as guinea pigs, we kind of started. We made this pineapple habanero. We got a lot of attention from it, and we were like, well, let's just let's just test it out on these 500 people that will eat anything we give them.
You're saying you're that popular.
Yes, absolutely.
When you work in an Apple store, there's like 100 fucking people that work there, and we worked
at a store,
and we had both worked in multiple stores, so we had this captive audience of several hundred people that we were like, let's just test it out on them.
Yeah.
So you just like put it in the fridge in the Apple store?
Yeah,
we would bring bowls of it and pieces of Tupperware and like
chips and just put it on the table and see what happens, and it would get destroyed, and then people would be like, holy crap, man, is that what you and Jared doing?
Well,
can we buy that?
And then we had to answer questions like, are you all going to bottle it and sell it? Like, I'll pay right now for a bottle. And that's kind of when we learned our first lesson in business, which was there's things that people want, and then there's things that people will spend money on, people that will actually buy something. And as soon as someone handed over a $10 bill and wanted a bottle, we're like, we should do something how do we do this instead of what we're doing now?
This sounds way more fun than standing and going, yeah, you should totally buy AppleCare.
So then we started.
You need it.
We figured that the cost of entry to something like this would be really simple, like hobby. You know, we met on Wednesday nights where we would cook and eat, and then research what to do to make a business out of it, or at least make a hobby out of it. And at first we were like, this is gonna be fine. We'll make some stuff in the kitchen, put it in a bottle, maybe go to some farmers markets. It'll be fun. And then we start realizing you got to have a manufacturer license. You got to understand the science behind what you're creating. You have to report everything. You got to have Then there's a whole slew of other things. You can't even actually get into stores without a proper UPC, etc. So things started to build up, and we were adding it together, and we're like, well, I'm not just going to spend $7,000 because we made a pineapple habanero hot sauce on a Wednesday night. So that's kind of when we were just discovering what Kickstarter was anyways. It
was kind of new at the time. This is like 2012, and it just popped out. And we were looking at it, we're like, man, we don't have $7,000, and if we spend $7,000, that's like all the money we have.
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of stressful. I was like, but there's so many people that really want this product. Let's try it. Let's make a stupid video that has nothing to do with what we're making. Let's not really even advertise what the product will look like. Let's not even let's just say that we know what we're doing, and we're gonna totally do this, and you should back our project. And then it freaking worked.
No, and that's like I said in the email, like we literally thought, okay, we got a couple hundred people that really like this stuff. If they're even willing to spend some money, that we'll see what this Kickstarter does. We think, we can pull off $7,000 with the two networks that we have combined.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the local papers are starting to publish it. Regional papers are publishing about us, and then through 6 Degrees of Separation, a sample of our products end up in New York at Kickstarter's headquarters, and they throw us up on the front page, like not the front page of Houston or Texas or a
Kickstarter
food, like if you're in Australia and you go to Kickstarter.com, like that's us. And we're
why do you guys think you got this attention, like starting with local news? Because I've been to Texas 2 times, and both times I've walked past multiple hot sauce shops. I feel like they're a dime a dozen. So like, why did you guys get all that attention? What was special about you at that point?
Well, I think we're funny. we're funny, and our branding is better. I mean, what it comes down to is you have about any product that exists, it's got about 3 seconds on the shelf. Someone's going to look at it. So your first initial reaction has to be dynamic. It has to be impactful. Yeah. And that was something that we understood right away. I mean, we worked for Apple. We sold the best of the best computers and phones and stuff. So we knew how important how important
good product,
a visual
good
appeal mattered.
Yeah, like packaging.
But there's got to have character, and we just kind of already were that with the people that we surround ourselves with, and we didn't really see the divide between making what's ours and selling what's ours in our lives every day. And so that just kind of carried through. Like everyone kind of seems to make this big difference between work and your everyday life or your personal life. And we just never really saw that, especially with working with Apple, it becomes a culture anyways. And then when you separate yourself from that and work on what's yours and it means something to you and you want to share it with other people, I think people just saw that how genuine that was and how hard we wanted to work on it. And on top of that, we're goofy. So,
So once you how long did it take you to fulfill the Kickstarter?
A while.
Yeah, it took several months.
Kickstarter is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's not exactly the easiest thing to manage on the back end. Like, if you have a thing that you're like, I need $2,000 and 50 people do it, you've only got 50 people to deal with. But when you start getting in the hundreds, and there's no real... Now it's actually, I think, a lot better. But back then, it was just a list. They're like, here you go, asshole, figure it out. Like,
there's no real e-commerce back end of Kickstarter.
I've done one. I know what it's like. Yeah.
Well, so on top of that, we didn't expect to get 500 plus backers. We expected to have like maybe between $4,000
we
and
thought we would get the
$7,000.
exact
Maybe
amount and it would be done.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, well, both of our moms.
Yeah, 100 Apple
whole
employees.
families, friends, and then all of our coworkers would just give us money, and then we would fulfill the orders, and then we'd be like, "Oh shit, we're a company now." But
we figured we might be able to just drive around and drop them off.
Yeah, we didn't think it was going to be some crazy ass like, boom, you've got twice as many things as you want. Hey, figure it out. So it was a little. It was to say it was overwhelming was an understatement. We managed to get under control it and take care of it, but it was intense.
Yeah.
So did you quit your jobs after the Kickstarter happened?
No.
Not right away.
No, actually, what ended up happening is this. Our story has these like watershed moments, but they happen like 3 months apart. So even if we wanted to consider that, like right after the Kickstarter, we spent like 3 months trying to fulfill everything, continuing to like starting to find out about farmers markets, starting to learn how to grassroots market ourselves and see kind of what this, because right now it's just a product, right? Kickstarter didn't create a company so much as it just started to create the process in which we make a product and sell it. It hadn't really established a business plan or anything like that. And within, the first 3 months of fulfilling all of this, James sends me a text message. He's like, go fill out your paperwork for MasterChef. Like, let's both try and get on MasterChef together. And he's like, no matter who it is, like everyone that's a part of the company, go apply right now.
Everyone
At least
apply.
one of us will get on.
One of us will get picked to do it, and then they ended up picking me.
Yeah. So 3 months after the Kickstarter, we haven't even finished fulfilling all of the orders, and he ends up flying to LA and is in LA for filming MasterChef for the next 3 months. So the first 6 months of the company, we haven't even really, like, I'm in the kitchen with Vince and Ryan making small batch amounts for the next market over and over again, and we're flipping the same like $100 or $200 over and over again while James is at MasterChef, and they don't let you talk to anyone.
No, it's not like I'm there with a phone that I can communicate, and I'm like, hey guys, this is what we need to do, we need to do this. I'm sequestered. My phone's gone.
For 3 months?
Not allowed,
yes.
three
the
straight
entire time
months.
you're on the show.
Are you allowed to say how much do they pay you to go on that show? Are you allowed to say that?
Not very much. Not enough.
Yeah, that's what I figured. My goodness, be away for 3 months from your business.
Their whole pitch is, you'll be a star.
You'll be a star. I was like, I don't really care about being a star. I just want like a couple fucking million people to learn about my company tonight right now. So let's do that.
But no, you'll be a star. Oh.
Yeah, but you'll be a star. I'm like, yeah, star doesn't pay the bills. So rich is much better than famous every time.
Okay.
So it didn't really. I mean, it was an amazing experience. I was gone for a long time, and it was annoying because I couldn't find out what was happening with the business. I was like, hey, what's going on, guys? Because I couldn't call them. I could only call my wife. And one 10-minute phone call a week, I'm not going to be like, hey, how's the company? I want to see how she's doing first.
Right.
So, by the time that's over, I'm like, I get back and I'm like, so what's been going on, guys?
So we still a thing?
It's me like sweaty, surrounded in a kitchen, looking at him. I'm like, I think I still have a job at Apple. I'm not really sure. I kind of just stopped going and started doing this while you were gone.
Oh my god. Okay, so you go onto the show, and then how long is it before the show airs?
It was like almost like a month afterwards.
Yeah.
I got back I left in the middle of January, and I got back in the middle of April, and it started airing at the end of May.
Wow.
So super fast turnaround.
So were you guys prepared? I mean, was there an influx of like orders when you were on the show?
Well, sort of. I mean, we didn't really have a website to speak of, or at least even an e-commerce website that was working well yet. And we were selling it, farmers markets on Saturdays. Like we haven't even figured out what to do yet. And so yes, there was attention that was brought from MasterChef. Anytime we were at a big show or somewhere, like tons of people would recognize him, and of course they would buy and want to get pictures. So there was a lot a spike of attention towards us, and it added on to the momentum that was created.
It definitely
from
helped
the Kickstarter.
It definitely helped maintain us having like who are these guys for like a good year.
I will say one of the biggest things that we could probably attribute to the show is how we got into Whole Foods.
Yeah, how we got into Whole Foods is
tell
definitely
that story.
So
It's short.
It's a very short story. So after I got back from the show, I eventually went back to Apple, but part time, because I didn't want to focus all my time working for someone
this
else.
wasn't a proven concept yet.
No, I was like, maybe we should have a little bit of money coming in on my personal line. So I was sitting at work one day and I was trying to figure out. I was like, man, we're in 20 stores. Wow. How do we start really growing? So I'm looking around like, how the hell do you get into Whole Foods? It's not exactly the easiest thing. I just fucking tweeted them from my MasterChef
Really?
Twitter. Yeah. I tweeted like, hey, at Whole Foods Houston, I co-own Bravado Spice. I want to get my sauces in all your stores. How do I do it? And then they responded.
Oh, man.
They're like, hey, just come on into this location and talk to us. So I did. And then like 3 or 4 weeks, like maybe 2 or 3 months later. It was a little bit of a process. Like a couple of weeks later, we met with like one of the buyers for the region, and she loved the products. And then a few months rolled down, and then we started getting all the stores in Texas and Oklahoma and Louisiana. So it was very serendipitous. It was like people were like, man, I've been trying for years to get into Whole Foods. I was like, I just sent a tweet.
Yeah,
You guys have a Twitter account?
I hate when people because there's other food companies that we admire and or will meet at shows and stuff, and they'll come and be like, so how do I get into Whole Foods? I'm like, man, we're the wrong people to ask. Yeah. We kind of skipped a couple of steps.
It's like we work our ass off for everything, but that was like the one thing that we didn't have to work that hard for.
For contrast, to get into Central Market, which is kind of a Whole Foods competitor that is owned by a very large grocery store chain down here. It's called HEB. It took us about a year
of trying over and over
from
again.
going into the store and finding out who the right people are to doing to even doing showcases that were hosted by Central Market for Central Market vendors. Like,
if only they were all ZZs getting into Whole Foods was. We'd be in thousands of stores right now. But since most of them require actual work, this is like that one-off cool story. We're like, I just sent them a tweet, sat back, got in.
I don't know why you think
Poor Whole Foods. They probably have like everyone tweeting at them now, being like, "Hey, I've got this product. I heard this."
Oh no! If you go and you look at tweets after them, it's just tons of people like, "I make this thing, carry it." No responses.
Nothing. Yeah.
Crazy.
So before you guys got before you guys got into all these locations, like how much hot sauce are you selling, or how is the company making any money at that point?
Oh, at the Whole Foods point?
Pre Whole Foods,
barely. It's just paying to exist.
Literally, like the Kickstarter got us the money we needed to start, and then basically because of harsh learning curves, we ended up having to spend most of the money on shipping, and it turned into somewhat of a loan, if you will. And then so we kind of started over, but with equipment and in a commercial kitchen. And then just started flipping the same like $200, like I said earlier.
Turned it into operating capital.
We literally just
turned it into 2,000. Just keep flipping and flipping and flipping.
We worked 15-hour days, 7 days a week for 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you?
Only in the last year have things been badass, and we've been able to actually enjoy. The fruits of the labor, but that comes with it. You have to do that.
Startup mentality.
You have to do that. If you don't, you're not going to make any fucking money. You're not going to grow.
What's funny is, there's an easy way to put this. Like y'all, I'm assuming. Y'all probably read The Lean Startup, right? Yep. So when I was coming to San Francisco a couple of times and like working in Silicon Valley briefly, I was told I should read The Lean Startup just because it was so common across the board, and that was kind of a common language for everyone. And I read the book and I laughed. I was like, man, there's a whole book of someone that has money telling other people how to run their business as if they don't have money. I'm doing this out of necessity. I was so mad at that book. I was like, of course you have to do it that way. That's the only way you can.
Right.
But that's just because we learned a lot from just necessity and the fact that we didn't want to get investment. We didn't want to get any cash from other people. We didn't want to owe any money to anyone because it's like it's so early in the game. No matter even after a year and a half, we still don't know the potential of what this could be. Why would we give half of it away, a quarter of it away, even 5% of it away when we can just keep hustling and making money and surviving until we know what it looks like?
I love it. I feel like a lot of folks will raise money without knowing what the fuck they're going to do with it. They're just like, well, everyone raises money, so
all the time, and it's not
what
just.
I'm worth.
Yeah, and it's everywhere. We have a lot of food industry companies we know that they get seed money and they start they start with $100,000 and they're in 5 stores, and I'm like, you're gonna want to spend all of that, and half of it's gonna be on the wrong stuff, and you won't figure it out for another year and a half. Like you just won't know. Like there's so much stuff that we probably wanted, and I could tell you we wanted it, in year 1 and year 2, that I look back now and I'm like, that would have been the wrong call. I'm glad we didn't have the money to buy that.
it changes your perception, because now we have the money to buy the things we want, and we look at it and we're like, we're not going to buy that. We don't want it. We don't need it. We could, but we don't need it. There's a formula to it now.
Yeah. Have you guys splurged on anything as a mature hot sauce company?
Where's our Bluetooth speaker?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
This was $80. We bought this.
This was $27.
Oh, it's $27.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a splurge.
Pretty great.
No, we don't really spend money. I mean, we have salary, we have payroll we have to take care of. We've got constant every month costs to keep operating, and it's just like we've lived that mentality of save every penny, don't spend any money. That when you start generating capital and having it on hand, you're like, you hoard it. You're like, what do I do with it?
I'll tell you what we splurged on. I'll tell you exactly what we splurged on. We went from grassroots, hard work, just to having the capital to work smarter. So our splurging was like learning about targeted Facebook ads, learning about YouTube and AdWords, and learning about how to get merch and approach your customers and have better marketing.
Increasing your web sales so you don't have to do fucking farmers markets anymore.
Yeah. We splurged on making the business more efficient, more approachable, and better looking. And then we got a truck.
Yeah, we just got a new truck. That was pretty badass.
Yeah. Well, we needed it. We needed it because the other one broke down.
His poor truck was like our work truck for the good 3 years, and it was like 200,000 miles. The axle broke on it twice.
I was driving on the. What is a work truck for you guys?
A work truck is a 2002 Chevy 1500 that has almost 300,000 miles. And the last time that I drove it, the back left wheel flew off on the freeway.
He called me at like 7:30 in the morning. He called me at like 7:30 in the morning. He's like, I need you to come get me. I was like, well, why? It's 7:30.
I'm driving on 3 wheels.
He's like, one of my tires came off on I-10 and I'm stuck. I was like, Jesus Christ, okay,
there's pineapple and chilies all over the road. It's madness.
Oh, that would have been amazing. I've always, you see those videos on the internet where it's like a truck full of chickens gets hit and you're just
totally.
Like, yeah, a truck
you
full of
been that guy
getting smashed that would be awesome to me.
Oh, damn it.
As long as no one got hurt.
Inspire a new kind of hot sauce for you. So what kind of how would you break your business down now between like e-commerce and like wholesale, like Whole Foods, all that?
So we have distribution, wholesale, and then retail, which is what we consider like physically us being at trade shows and stuff.
Big expos,
and then e-commerce. The biggest side of our business is definitely distribution and wholesale, though.
Yeah.
At its core, we're a specialty foods manufacturer, and we make delicious and amazing products that we then sell into the market, who then sell it for a profit.
Wholesale is definitely probably the winner, followed by distribution, followed by expo, followed by web.
Yeah, and really? Web is changing. Now that we have, like I was saying earlier, now that we have some capital to pour into it, we're taking a page out of a lot of these e-commerce only online stores that are doing really well by targeting specific demos and markets to actually have a really good sustainable source of income just from our online store. So we're taking a page. We want that to grow further, but it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely starts with wholesale and distribution.
Could you be a little bit more specific in terms of like how you target those demos? Like what have you guys learned that's like been effective for you?
Anyone that's bigger than you, that's doing it better than you, go copy them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but
I'll see an ad from.
Yeah,
I'll see ad like I do primarily all of our targeted ads and stuff, and I'll see ads from like a big company that's way bigger than us that I can't possibly compete with, and then I'll see a thing like, this weekend only at these select stores, buy 2 get 1 free, and it'll say like 7,000 people like this. I'm like, fuck, they put like $2,000 into this, $5,000 into this ad. So we started looking at those ads and going, we're going to do this too. So like if we do a paid round of demos and all the Whole Foods in Louisiana and Oklahoma and Dallas are doing demos one weekend, I'll create ads to support it. So it'll go back and it'll reach out to those people who might visit those stores, and you have to target this specifically. You can't just be like, dudes
so that's
in
what I'm
Dallas.
wondering. Yeah, exactly. So like what kind of things are you specifically pulling out as like valuable characteristics to target?
The way Facebook and all of social media worked is everything that you like, everything that you're interested in, that gets locked into channels of information. So you become filtered down as person A who likes B and C. You target your ad for people who like B and C who live in this target. So while there might be, let's say 5 million people that live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, maybe only 1 million of them are ever going to go into a Whole Foods. So I don't need to waste money or time talking to the 4 million people that aren't going to frickin' go. Right. I want to talk to those 1 million people. So it's about narrowing the scope without making it too pinpoint. It's like a scoped shotgun. It's like a barrel that hits a specific magic sweet spot where you can find all the people who your product would be relevant to and also shop somewhere. Because your product might be relevant to someone, but if they're like, I live in the middle of nowhere, 25 miles north of Dallas, I'm not driving 30 miles south to go to the store.
Buy hot sauce.
What's the point of advertising to them? You're never going to get them. So and I think it's also a lot less invasive and annoying because we're assaulted by ads constantly. They're in everything. You have marketing and ads in your face everywhere you go. So I think it's kind of nice to make it a little bit more relevant for people and target them specifically who would actually like it. Like if I got an ad about hot sauce, and let's say I didn't own a hot sauce company with him, and I saw an ad. Someone else. And I saw a Facebook ad that was like, check out this badass hot sauce. It's in these stores right by you. I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a look.
Okay, gotcha.
It's slightly personalizing something that's very impersonal.
And is there, are you mainly on Facebook? Like, have you tried Instagram, Twitter?
We do a little bit of Instagram. Twitter is just more about promoted tweets for us.
Okay.
That's what we've really been successful with. Email and Facebook are the two that we've seen the absolute most success with. I mean, I can put something online and see the immediate turnaround in terms of revenue with Facebook. The other ones, they require a slightly different approach. And unfortunately, what I'm really good at is email and Facebook. But the others we've played with and had good results with. It's just something that has to grow and change as we get bigger.
Okay, got you.
We're still in the infancy of social marketing too, though. Like we haven't had the capital to really pour into it until this year. So
yeah, like 2 years ago, if you would have been like, "Hey, put $1,000 in the Facebook post," I'd be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, if I had to say anything about it, I think the most important thing is just to be able to be honest about your company, because otherwise you don't know who to target.
I see deceptive ads from other companies all the time. It's like, check out this brand. They're the next big thing, says this magazine. You're never gonna believe how they guys got started. And I'm like, this is horseshit. I'm gonna scroll right past it.
So what about YouTube? You guys are doing YouTube stuff now.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just starting on that. We're starting to actually take a really weird direction.
Actually, we released a video today that is a little telling as to like the direction.
Because we've got these cool cooking videos that show you how to do awesome stuff with our hot sauce,
like
right?
Taste Made, Tasty, the
Tip Hero.
food
People
stuff.
love them, but they're us totally. But we had to start incorporating. We've all got weird personalities. We all are quirky and funny and goofy. We wanted to start incorporating that personality into it, so we just did a video with Jared making guacamole, and I'll be honest with you guys, it's real weird.
Yeah, you might be uncomfortable for a second.
I just put it on all of our accounts just a minute ago, and it's like way better response than I expected. Yeah. People are like, "Oh wow, that's neat." Okay, all right, I like this. We're taking a very Tim and Eric-y weird approach with it, and I think it's gonna pay off.
Well, yeah, we combine the informative, fun, easy way to do recipes with my humor. Well, for this video, everyone will get a turn.
And so is the point there to just build a giant YouTube following?
Yes.
Like, is that what you're going for?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously like being on camera. We've done it, and it's fun. But every time we get to do something on camera, it's always very artificially created. Like when I did MasterChef, it was very like, you're doing this, and this is what's happening. And then when we did $1 Billion Buyer, it was very much the same, like set. And we always want to do something a little bit more funny and a little bit more freeing. And that's kind of what we're doing with the new direction with our recipe videos.
So this works for e-commerce, but then how do you guys like differentiate yourself in a Whole Foods?
Well, so
Branding.
Well, yeah,
the
Right,
big
but
one.
there are a billion hot sauces, right? There are tons of them.
So-
Not all of them get cut, and that's the biggest thing. Is while there are billions of hot sauces in a larger company like Whole Foods and Central Market, they're not going to carry 50 brands. They're going to carry the 15 or 20 that sell.
Yeah.
So
And
while
4 of them are
in
ours.
the time that we've been in Whole Foods in Texas, we've seen probably about 13 or 14 other companies get approved, put in,
Really?
and then taken out a quarter later because it doesn't sell. And a hot sauce isn't something that someone buys every single shopping trip. It's more of a monthly purchase, monthly by monthly. So it can take a quarter to move through a decent amount of product. But if you've got cases and cases on the shelf that have been sitting there for 6 months, and then you have product that gets
You're
expired
done.
and chunked out, they cut you.
The trick to this, the
Anyone
most
does.
important about all this is our customer service and how engaging we are with our customer base. Whether it be e-commerce, wholesale, or distribution, we're very hands-on. I mean, if we don't know where our products are or how well they're doing in every single avenue and every single store, then we're not doing our job right. So
Yeah.
we keep heavy tabs on that. We leverage technology in order to make sure that we can keep up with all that. We use CRM softwares and awesome shipping softwares and kind of get all those things talking together so that we can maintain all of that so we know what's going on. I mean, we separate as far as tasks, we separate in-store marketing and social media marketing, but we look at it as an organism, you kind of have, even the YouTube video that we just released now, we'll make recipe cards and then we'll have in-store demos happening in Whole Foods.
They'll be
and
sitting
then
on the
those
table for
ads will be
customers to
targeted
take.
for that particular time in that particular location, so that the chances of you looking on Facebook, seeing our YouTube video, and then looking up and then seeing someone sampling our product with a physical copy of the recipe, like, buy this.
So when you do an in-store demo, how does that work? Do you have to pay Whole Foods to do it? Do you just show up? How does it all happen?
Depends. I mean, we like to visit the flagship stores because it makes a big impact on customers to meet one of the guys that physically makes the product and actually talk to them. But for the most part, all these stores have programs in place to make it easy for them to demo your product. You just have to pay them a little bit of money, and we try and stay on top of that.
Yeah.
And does that make a material impact on sales in the store?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it does.
And does
And we
that
track
last over
that.
time?
We track
Yes.
the data behind that. I mean,
really?
we have a commitment to try and hit any of our stores that offers demos at least once a month, and that's kind of
Really?
uncommon. But I think that's part of the reason why our product doesn't get kicked out and why it keeps growing and selling is we have to support it. And I think that gets forgotten because people get like, I just signed my first 10-store account. And then they never step a foot in the store. They don't demo. They don't support it. And then they're blown away that 6 months later it gets kicked out. And they're like, my product's amazing. Why can't it be in here? Like, we didn't sell, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the step one is make a good product, and then there's 100 other steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With in-store demos, a lot of the stores have their own programs that we can use.
We take
leverage
full
those
advantage
pretty
of them.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so do you guys, obviously you can't be everywhere. Do you just hire freelance type people? Does Whole Foods have employees that do it?
Whole Foods has an actual demo specialist program, so you can pay to have Whole Foods do your demos.
Oh, okay.
And for us, we try and make that as personable as possible. And they handle so many different brands that we want them to be as close to one of us being in the store as possible. But yeah, Whole Foods has those kind of programs. Places like Market Street, who's owned by Albertsons, they
Bush's
prefer
Fresh
to
Market,
use,
Central Market.
They prefer to use third party, and a lot of times those stores will suggest the one that they enjoy working with the most, and that's what we prioritize is based on what the store enjoys. Or has had the best relationship with, and then in some few instances, they may not have a preference or even do it at all, and at that time we'll search for a third party. We rarely use third party though. We do some heavy vetting when it comes to that.
We only have a very, very small handful of third-party companies that we trust implicitly to do stuff. We have really high standards on what should be happening with our product when there's a demo going forward, and it's the amount of companies we found that have met that criteria is very small. But they exist, and we love working with them.
How do you guys test products? Have you ever put something in a market and had it flop?
Well, okay, so this goes back to no. Actually, no.
We've never taken it. We never let anything get that far if it's not going to work.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, we've tried different variations of things in-house and made decisions around it. Ultimately, when we create a product, we create it for ourselves first.
So can you talk about what's coming up next?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. No one knows about this.
No one knows about this. This is
All
kinda
right.
cool.
Ooh,
Y'all get it.
Y'all get
We
some
don't even know about
exclusive data. So we feel real confident about our hot sauces. They're badass. There's a couple plans for maybe some more of those in the future, but our line is real strong right now, so we don't want to jack with it. Pickles are badass. We might expand that in the future, but that's still a new product that we haven't put everywhere.
That's a good example of a slight learning curve too. Like when I talk about the limitations of being able to scale, pickles was an opportunity for us to learn that we could fall in love with something, and then all of our customers can demand it, even down to Whole Foods and Central Market. All those people really want them, and we've learned that they're incredibly difficult to make. Well, they used to be. We've
Better equipment, better training, better gear.
but we didn't anticipate that, and so now we have that's kind of helped us learn how to go about creating new products, is so that we don't create problems for ourselves right off the bat.
It took months before we were able to comfortably do that pickles wholesale for people, because people would buy them and then they'd sell out. I'd be like, there'll be some more in 3 weeks, and you don't want a professional business. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You need to have full availability to your clients at all times, and having to go, hey, you're just gonna have to wait. Man, I'm losing money, and they're losing money that they're not gonna make.
Yeah.
So what's coming next?
They're like, shut up.
Seasoning. We're doing seasonings.
Okay.
It's in the damn name. It's in Bravado Spice, so we're gonna get into that. We've created one of the products, and I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. It's our Crimson Seasoning. It's literally, we kind of deconstructed our Crimson hot sauce and turned it into powder form. One of our biggest inspirations is, I don't know about where y'all are at, but here in Houston and then like the entire Gulf Coast and Louisiana and Mississippi, all the way to Florida, everybody has a jar of either Lowry seasoning or Tony Chachere's. Everyone's got it, man. It's a jar of vaguely salty, chili flavored stuff that you put on stuff, and we were like, well, we can do that better. We can do it bigger, we can do it bolder, we can do it more Bravado style. So we did a test run of it very recently, and it's like all we've been using on everything.
Stupidest thing
it's
ever.
so damn good.
I love it. Like that's my favorite part is when we're like, why don't we just try this, and then you eat it and you're like, fuck. This is so good.
When you look at a lot of those ingredients, it's the same thing. It's salt, some type of anti-caking agent, which is BS anyway. Don't keep your seasoning in your refrigerator with water all around it. It'll be fine. And then like a couple of other ingredients.
Unless you're in Houston,
which you're in a swamp, so keep it inside, dry and cool. But we wanted to take a different approach. We wanted something bigger. We wanted something spicier. We wanted something that kind of kicks your ass a little bit more than Tony's or any of that stuff. And
it's a Houston, Texas Tony Chachere's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Tony Chachere's is to seasoning, as far as like Cajun seasoning goes, is to Bravado Spice for like Texas, Houston, Texas seasonings.
It's ridiculously badass, and it's probably the thing I'm most proud of that I've made of ours in the last few years. Like when we did the Crimson, I was like, this is it. We've made our perfect red sauce. This is awesome.
My magnum opus.
Yeah, and then we did this one, and I was like, fuck, this is just as good. This is like, this is the second thing.
Well, and it also,
we prototyped probably 30 fucking products in the time we've been together, because you always get a cool idea, but they're never... I guess our standards are too high. Our opinion on how good something should be is too high. I mean, we've shot down some really great products that we enjoyed, but we just knew they weren't good enough. This is the first one.
One thing would be amazing, but it has like 10 ingredients in it, and we're like, gotta be simpler. One thing would be amazing, but it'll be, a brownish red. And we're like, no, it needs to be vibrant, beautiful.
Beautiful color.
There's aesthetics that go into it that are important to us. There's flavor profiles. There's the simplicity of people being able to understand what's inside it and enjoy it and be... I mean, we want people to be able to shop and look at ingredients and go, I understand what this is, versus, a catalog of insane amounts of things. Even if it's all natural stuff, but there's 50 ingredients and they're like, what is that? How do you even know what you're eating anymore?
Yeah.
It's a badass product. I use it constantly... Because I grill a lot. I love, making eggs and, grilling chicken and burgers and stuff like that. And it's like, for me, it's been such a perfect, bust out all the seasoning. I'm like, just put this shit on it. Shake it up, and then you're like, it's done.
I feel like hot sauce goes on like 90% of foods if you want it to, and like this covers the last 10%.
Yeah.
Now you can put Bravado on everything.
You literally, you
on.
can finally live with us inside of you every day. It's been our plan the whole long.
I don't think they liked that.
No, they look happy.
I don't understand why they don't like that.
There's a man inside me.
His name is James. I'm here now.
You're safe.
So where is the company right now? How many employees do you guys have right now?
So it's we have us two, and we have two contractors basically, but they've been with us since the very beginning.
Right.
I guess it's unfair to call them contractors. They are contract labor, but they're integral parts of who we are. They're part of the brand identity. They've been there since day one. They're part of the core group.
No, but to answer your question, there's 4 guys.
Yeah.
We have an office and then a pseudo office warehouse kind of around the corner. And we're in Houston, Texas. And then our food plant, our co-packer, is also here in Houston, Texas as well. So
like 15 miles from here.
Yeah, 15 minutes down the road. So we're very close to where we get our produce, to where we make it, to where we do sales and marketing and all of that stuff.
Nice. And how many stores are you in now?
300.
All right, congrats.
Yeah, that's a number.
We started the year with 119.
No, this year? Yeah. No, we started this year at 210, and we've gained 90 stores already this year. So my goal is 500 this year. Yeah. That's like my magic goal.
Yeah, that's great. So how much hot sauce does that mean?
A lot.
A shitload. We
do about 5 pallets every 6 weeks.
Well, that's closer to 6.
So let's hang. Okay, so
yeah, how many bottles?
We double stack our pallets.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm doing math.
You guys are so edgy.
I know.
We're so edgy. That's us, edgy. It's about 13,000 bottles every 6 weeks to 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the one thing that we think about all the time. Like you have a let's say you sell an iPhone, right? It's one item for $800, $900 like for true value, right? We sell one item for $6. So you gotta sell a lot more.
I gotta sell a ton of them.
Yeah.
Well, and you sell it to Whole Foods at what, $3?
Around there, close, yeah.
Okay. And do you like structure that deal differently with everyone, or is it pretty
depends.
standard?
No, we standardize a lot of our pricing. We're very straightforward with people that, obviously the more you buy, the more opportunity you have to negotiate with us and get a good price. But
if you swing in and want 25 pallets for something, you might get a little bit different of a price as opposed to the guy that wants 5 cases.
Yeah,
but we keep a huge gap between that on purpose because we want all of our customers to be treated equally.
Yes. So if you're a mom and pop shop in North Carolina, you're pretty much buying it for what Whole Foods is buying it for and making a similar markup at the same time.
Yeah,
so
same kind of
we try to be as fair and transparent on that end as possible. Just because for us, the other reason we got into business is that we have a mentality that I mean we're competitive. Do not get me wrong, we're very competitive. But as far as outside of food companies, when we're working together and making money, if you're our customers and all of that, we're all in it together. So we want you to make money. We want to make money. Yeah. We want to make attention for your company because the more people shopping, the more good items. I mean, we suggest products that we've discovered and friends that we've made in this industry to other stores just because we know that they're good people and they make a great product and it sells well, and that only creates more value not only for the relationship we have with our friends but also with the stores and our opinion. So we kind of hate this scorched earth, do whatever it takes, burn everything to the ground to make a buck mentality, and that's one of the main reasons we went into business for ourselves, because it just doesn't need to be there. You change your attitude, and all of a sudden, it's you make the same amount of money.
No, I still do a lot of scorching of earth.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of scorched earth and burning everything.
I do all of our sales, and I'll be straight with you guys. There is a lot of salting of the earth happening. I leave nothing behind.
Nice. There you go.
As owners of a hot sauce company, do you guys constantly get challenged to eat hot things?
Yes. Every fucking place.
And
hey, you like hot stuff? You want to eat this? No, I don't.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
I eat this every day. Yeah. Stop. Shut up.
We'll get a little drunk sometimes at some of the bigger
every time.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
not
fine.
Some of the time.
We get drunk at expos, have a great time with a lot of people, and we'll randomly make friends and then take them around and introduce them to all of our friends that have hot sauce, make them eat hot stuff, and then be like, well, if they're going to eat it, I'm going to make them to eat it. I'm going to eat it. And then the next day we regret it.
Dude, we were just in New York, and we were hammered, and we were with a couple of our clients who like own shops up there, and we were walking around with them, and I was introducing them to some of our other friends who were in town. And this guy was like, hey, you know, I've got this Carolina Reaper hot sauce. And I don't know if you know what Carolina Reaper hot sauce is, guys. Carolina Reaper is the hottest pepper in existence. There's nothing.
I feel like
hotter.
everything's the hottest pepper in existence. All right, Carolina Reaper. Remember that one?
No. We need to get this straight right
establish
away. It
is
the current Guinness Book of World Records holder for the hottest pepper in existence.
Data backing,
and it's fucking miserable.
Get out of here with your pessimism.
Why?
This is real.
I understand your skepticism. I support it, but this I gotta be straight with you. This sucks. It's really hot.
We're gonna mail one of them back.
Yeah, you're getting one
with
now.
the microphone.
Yeah, you're getting one now.
I'll take
It's gonna
one.
like melt through whatever container you put it in.
They sent. I went to this booth and this guy was like, "I have this pure extract capsaicin hot sauce. It's 2 million Scoville." And I was drunk. I was like,
my God.
I was with some people. I was like, "Oh, I'll try it." And I was like outside by myself, just sweating, spitting. Just my whole mouth's numb. I'm just drooling. I'm like, "This sucks. Why did I do this?"
Such a hard man. You're amazing.
Bad call.
You got to do it once, but
You don't need to ever do it again.
Get drunk and do it every time.
No. I'm good for the next 4 years. I don't need to do that shit ever again.
What's been the hardest part for you guys in starting a food company in particular?
Money, hands down.
We've got awesome work ethic. I mean, we will outwork anybody else in our field. We don't ever stop. We don't ever give up. We've always had that. We're organized. We're dedicated. It's just gaining capital and getting enough to do what you want. Like the things that we want to do, even if we've got $30,000 in the bank, we look at the things like, well, how do we get to the point where we do this? Well, we need to buy this thing for $20,000, this for $15,000, invest this amount. So it's always about capital. And our pride to turn down every investor ever.
Yeah. The other thing that I would say is more of a rant for me. As far as what's holding us back, personally,
Yeah, obviously it's you.
It's him.
I'm gonna go. See you later.
Oh,
So it's just me now, guys.
now it's a company of one.
It's powers change. It's great.
There is one thing about this industry, and it's not just the food industry. It's pretty much retail in general. There's a ton of middlemen throughout this industry that have built themselves in, much like car dealerships, where all these same old school industrial methods of we get a cut of your hard work because we're gonna take something from point A to point B, and FedEx isn't appropriate for that. And so, in order to instill confidence into a national chain, they want you to have a national distributor. And in order to have a national distributor, you have to have clout with both of them in order to get a deal that means you have a company that can exist beyond 1 year until you run out of money. Like we've already talked about a number of things that make it very expensive to become profitable inside of a store. Store marketing, from recipes to videos to in-store demos to giving away free product to free fills to paying to be on a shelf, which we do not do and probably
we'll never do.
Hopefully we'll never do.
Never going to work with anyone.
But there's another part of it where it's like these distributors and these guys, like they have a place, they have a purpose, but it's the middlemen inside there that entrench themselves into the market that make it extremely difficult for companies like us that are burgeoning and getting bigger and coming up on a lot of attention that could easily go into a store and sell a lot of hot sauce for these guys, but the cost of entry is so high and they want to bleed you in every corner just because they know there's someone right after you that's gonna do the same thing. And so as far as going from where we are now to becoming the next Tabasco or Dave's Insanity or national, multinational brand, it's really getting in front of these national distributors and having like an honest conversation about what's going to be best for both of us versus being so very one-sided. And that's something that we're actively working around. The reason that we're in so many stores now is because we took it upon ourselves to get on the phone and really make the customer service.
When I say 300 stores, if you take out the 30 or so Whole Foods,
37.
Every single one of those stores outside of that is someone that we deal with directly. And this isn't just a one-store chain. We've got a 15-store chain in Michigan. We've got a 6-store chain in California. We've got chains all over the country. And we capitalize on how much revenue we're going to keep from it because we cut out the middleman.
But also our customers benefit from it at the same time.
They're not dealing with some third-party guy. Hey, we need you guys to do this. They call me directly. It's done. Right. It's beneficial, I think, and it's a big point of pride for us. Someone will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm in 300 stores." I'm like, "Yeah, but you actually have 6 distributors, and you don't even know the name of your buyer in any of his stores." So it's like I know what I know how to make more money off of a store by being just in that relationship with them, and it's a big point of pride for us.
Yeah. And then you have distributors who are reluctant to share that kind of information with you when you just want to be able to support your customers and they think you're just going to hijack them. And it's like legitimate concerns across the board. And then as far as a buyer from a grocery store or a retailer, when they look at an aisle of 90,000 SKUs, right, that's on one side, they don't want to have to call 90,000 people, right? That totally makes sense, right? So there's purposes for all of it.
We just say fuck it and go against it, though.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. Like, how do you guys end up growing in that ecosystem? Like, ultimately, you'll have to make a deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we're not going to stop until our business is so much more valuable to where when we make that deal,
we have to have leverage.
It's not one way like it is for so many other people. Because a lot of people get so desperate, they want to get out there. They want their product in stores, and they'll sign a shitty deal. They'll be like, "Yeah, of course, I don't have to get paid for the first 90 days, and you take 40%." And that's of course. We got a contract like that, and we were like, no, screw this. We're not doing this. I'll call these stores and figure it out on our own. And we got them anyway. So it really just comes down to short-term versus long-term. Do you want to make a little bit of money now or a lot of money over the long term? And we chose the long
if you guys were going to start over today, what would you do now?
Honestly, it's impossible to answer that hypothetical because the things that we did are the exact reasons why we know what to do now. Like, if we remove the fact that we worked and made it ourselves in a commercial kitchen for the first year and a half, we wouldn't have the empathy and understanding and the detailed understanding of how our co-packer works and be able to make our products better for them, easier for them to make, and something that they appreciate and understand back and forth. We would not have that if we were to go, oh, you know what? It would have been financially more responsible, and we would have grown faster if we would have went straight to the co-packer. But we wouldn't have the knowledge that we have now. So
I can put it another. Oh wait, James, you're going to say something.
But if we started over with every bit of knowledge we have now, and we would be millionaires.
Millionaires. Well, the question that I'm really asking is like, if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh man, maybe I want to start a company, maybe it's a hot sauce company, maybe it's like whatever. What's your advice?
Fail constantly in the beginning because you literally have to make mistakes. There's no magical book. I mean, there's tons of of books out there that tell you how to run a business and how to get started, especially in the food industry. But there's really nothing that's going to replace physical experience and seeing failures and victories in front of you and adapting and learning and growing.
And I'll add on to that because I think it's extremely important to understand that, like he's saying, you take it as failure or a mistake or a change. It's just a learning process. But the other key ingredient to that formula or that piece of advice is that you have to assess the risk in which the action will be. So if you assume a risk and take that chance and learn and fail from it, you have to be able to absorb that at what you are. Again, going back to, you have to be honest about your company and who you are. If you take a $20,000 risk and you've got $25,000 and it doesn't work out, then you don't have a company anymore. So it's two-pronged. You have to be able to put yourself out there. You quit your job and make those challenges for yourself.
Quit your job.
Honestly, yeah.
No, and I will. That's the most truest thing ever. Is the moment we both quit our jobs and had no money,
necessity.
And we were like, if we don't do this, we're gonna get kicked out of our homes. We're gonna get evicted. We have to make this work. Quit your fucking job. If you are on your 5th year of running a business and you're still working full time, you're not running a business. You're running a hobby that's breaking even. Quit your job and throw all in, and then work your ass off. If you don't do that and you're not willing to do that, give up the title of entrepreneur because you're not doing it.
Bam.
Okay, thanks for listening to this week's episode. And remember, as always, we send out a newsletter with each episode. So if you want to check that out, you can go to saltpodcast.com. And hey, John, how do we make that newsletter?
MailChimp.
There you go. MailChimp. You can sign up for free. Join over how many million? 8 million? 10
this year.
million?
Oh,
Yeah. Join over 10 million people and go use MailChimp for free. MailChimp.com.